purpose. Welcome back. Welcome back to the TGIF edition of Cliff Hughes Online. I'm Tyrone Reed. Of course, we're taking the calls. Remind me, who's up next, studio? Richard. Top of the morning to you, Richard.
Okay, Mr. Reed. How you doing, sir?
Not too shabby for a middle-aged guy. How are things with you, man?
Long time no talk. Everything good?
We'll give thanks. We'll give thanks. Glad to hear that it is well with you, man. What's on your mind this morning?
All right. What's on my mind is a Cuban nurse issue. I was astonished because I tell my wife a couple of years. I was talking to my wife just the other day about it, and my daughter. Say, listen, man, when Cuban work, they don't go to them. They go to the government of Cuba. All right? That is what happened in Trinidad. That is what happened in the Bahamas. Because I met them there already, talked to them because I have Cuban friends who I met. And so if the government, you tell me that the government, I mean, a lay man like me with no education like that, just a high school education. I know this, and you're a government with all those degrees and doctor this and lawyer this, and I didn't know this. Come on, man, that's nonsense. I don't believe that's all me. I'm not even right, but I tell you, that's
yeah, this business about the government finding out what the government is doing it's wild, man. It is wild.
You did not know that.
It is wild.
Education what you have.
It is wild that
let me know that and you didn't know that.
It is wild that statement is absolutely wild. Yeah,
right.
That the government is just finding out what Jamaica is doing.
Right. I'm gonna say this to you. You know that if you're a state doing business with Cuba, how you're debt. You know that a lot of the debt, the way to pay their debt is for their people to work off that they send people there to work off that debt. Or you didn't know that?
Well, no one person knows everything. I appreciate the vote of confidence, but no one person knows everything.
But as far they did not know, man. This is an agreement over 50 years. Like nobody can tell me that they did know that. You know? And I what the PNP should say, they stand with the people of Cuba, not the government of Cuba.
Well, look, the PNP and Fitzjackson has tied the PNP to the government of Cuba. You know? He says they stand with them. Those were his words, unless the video was doctored.
He did not say I stand with them. You know? He said we,
yes,
as the opposition.
Absolutely, that's what I heard as well.
We stand with the government of Cuba. That is what he said.
Well, my brother, more anon, yeah? More on that, and the PNP should answer the questions. Are they standing with the government of Cuba or the people of Cuba? And they need to be clear about that. And do they support this whole business of paying the Cuban government and not the workers directly? Do they support this business of workers not being in possession of their passports in a democratic society? Look, Fitzjackson has lost his marbles, I'm telling you.
Sir, I was working away from 2010 to 2016. Trinidad, and it was a tournament that was happening in Trinidad, a sporting event, and we was there. Barbados, the whole region was taking part. And when our athletes stay in hotel, the Cuban was renting an apartment where I was doing some work in this apartment, and the Cuban team have to rent an apartment for the Cuban team, and they have to cook for themselves and wash their own clothes, you know, while our athletes put up in a hotel, you know. Even the Trinidadian athletes stay in a hotel. Yeah.
Oh boy! Thank you for the call, my brother. Appreciate the insights. Yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah, man, it's a long time. I want to say.
Yeah, my answer based on that statement by Fitzjackson, the member of Parliament for South St. Catherine. Yeah, man, I appreciate it. The People's National Party, the opposition in this country, they have questions to answer based on that statement by Fitzjackson, the member of Parliament for South St. Catherine or Southern St. Catherine. The quote is, the opposition is steadfast. We stand with the Cuban government on this matter. And he went on to make the point that he believes the Cuban government on this issue more than he believes his own government. Yeah. George, top of the morning to you. Her body has not been found, but the courts have found him guilty. Yeah. The courts have found him guilty. He was convicted in January this year, I think it was. He was convicted. And of course, he's now before the courts awaiting sentencing. Yeah, he's awaiting his fate. He's already been found guilty. He's in courtroom 2, according to our Ace Court reporter Ruben Williams, and so he's awaiting his fate. His attorney Christopher Townsend addressed the court earlier today. Relatives of Donnelly Donaldson are still they are present in court. Maitland was found guilty by a 7-member jury of murder and preventing the lawful burial of Donaldson's body following a months-long trial that gripped the nation. Donaldson, of course, was last seen in July 2022. Yeah, and so he was found guilty. And I'm trying to find the exact time here. I think it was in January of this year. Just wanted to make sure I'm giving you the correct information. Of course, the sentencing is being handled by Supreme Court Justice Leighton Pusey. And I'm not seeing the exact date here in the updates. But of course, I'm certain, we'll try to get to you, though, that pertinent bit of information about what sentence is to be handed down to the constable or former constable, perhaps at this rate, Noel Maitland. All right, but that's where we're going to have to wrap it up for today.
Friday, March 13, 2026. Well, Nationwide News has an update for you from the Noel Maitland trial. Remember that he was to be sentenced today. Our court reporter, Ruben Williams, is reporting that convicted murderer Noel Maitland has been sentenced to life imprisonment for the killing of his girlfriend, social media influencer Donnelly Donaldson. Again, convicted murderer Noel Maitland has been sentenced to life in prison for the killing of his girlfriend, social media influencer Donnelly Donaldson. He's to be eligible for parole after serving 32 years and 4 months. The sentence was handed down by Supreme Court Judge Justice Leighton Pusey on Thursday in the Home Circuit Court. Maitland, a former member of the Jamaica Constabulary Force, a former policeman, was last month found guilty by a 7-member jury of murder and preventing the lawful burial of Donaldson's body after a trial that ran for several weeks. Donaldson, recall, was last seen alive on July 12, 2022, after being picked up from her mother's home in St. Andrew by Noel Maitland. Her body has not been found. Maitland has been in custody since July 27, 2022, when he was arrested by the police during the early stages of the investigation into Donnelly Donaldson's disappearance. So, again, Noel Maitland, the former policeman, has been sentenced to life in prison for killing his girlfriend, social media influencer Donnelly Donaldson, and he will be eligible for parole after serving 32 years and 4 months. We understand that our court reporter, Khaleesi Wright, is